just to chunk on, so hopefully that'll work out. Let's just make sure the streams are enough. All right, Twitch is running. And let's see if YouTube starts up faster than 20 seconds. And there it is. Awesome. That was a quick start today, YouTube. I'm proud of you. Welcome to Code Hangout number 448. Today, according to my little... where is it? This guy. Today, we're doing user support. And I've had a couple of bug reports popping in this morning. Perfect to sort out. I think we're going to start with this one, the third one, because reverse order, why not? Basically, yesterday I looked into some stuff. There's a known issue with Amazon URL resolution, and they like to mess with my URLs, and they remove double slashes, and puzzle data includes double slashes. And if the double slashes are changed, then obviously the data doesn't decompress anymore. And we have a particular case here, and I'm trying to figure out why this was is problematic. So what they were saying is, I have a version that works, which is this, and they added a solution, and after adding the solution, it creates a new URL, except it returned to them a URL that already exists, and that's known bad. So there's two options here. There's one option where the add URL feature, which I believe is, sorry, add URL, add solution, the new solution link feature, which is this. Interesting. We'll look into that in a second. Does something bad. And there's a version where it just returns the already existing data, which happens to be bad just because it doesn't like to create new data, right? Now, we should have this data locally, so I'm actually curious what's going on there. If I go into public, public staging, API, puzzle. All right, and if I do lscr6, ooh, if I do llcr6, I get a whole bunch of them, right? We want the one that ends in AT, so we have this one here. All right, so the question is, let me think, what was the report? So Ivan tried this out, and he said, loaded this version, entered a solution, and asked SudokuPad to create a new link with a solution. Now, technically, I don't know if it'll create new data. So there's a bunch of stuff happening. So depending on what the source data was. Yeah, so if the source data is fpuzzles, I think it should generate fpuzzles with the solution. So let's have a look. Which means if the data has a solution, shouldn't it create the same? So there's a lot of question marks in my head. Let's have a quick look. So this is the version I created yesterday. Failed to load response. Let's refresh that. So that's this one, right? So that's the fpuzzles data. Let's do a little bit of sleuthing here and have a quick look at what exactly is in here, right? So we'll do document. No, we'll do console.log. Just do this here. We'll do await puzzle loader dot fetch puzzle data get puzzle ID. I don't think it's data. I think it's just that. But do this. All right, so that gets that. And if I do puzzle loader dot strip puzzle format, and then we'll do load fp puzzle dot decompress puzzle data. So if I then just try to straight up decompress it, what do we get? No, not decode. Not decode. Decompress puzzle. And that's a... So that gets me a null. Is it possible that this is URI encoded? Yes, it is. we have decode URI component, add more braces, and here we go. All right, so that's the data we get on the inside. And if we parse the JSON, right, we should be able to see if solutions exist in here. So this doesn't contain the solution. Right. Okay, so that doesn't contain the solution. So once we're adding the solution, we should get a new puzzle data. Now, if there's no solution, okay. So if we look at this one, and let's make this explicit, right? Instead of get puzzle ID, we can actually put the puzzle ID in here, right? Or we'll just say PID here, right? And then we'll say here, and we'll say PID here, right? And if we do this with the other one that he's given us, this one will break. It shouldn't be able to decode, right? Kind of what it meant. Okay. But we should be able to fix it, right? We should be able to figure out which of the slashes is the broken one and manually basically fix the data. So if I do this, if I do this, no, just that. Okay, and we'll get rid of 2 of the slashes. So that should get us just the string. And then we'll want to check how many slashes we have, right? Dot match all. Boop. Like that. So that just matches all the slashes. Nope. Dot match. Do I just do a match G? Is that gonna do the trick? Yeah. So we have 17 slashes, and we have to figure out which of those isn't gonna break the thing. So, how do I replace a specific version of it? So we should be able to find like 1 slash with 1 slash ahead of it, for example. If I say, how many slashes are there that are preceded by what am I looking for? Any number of characters slash, or more accurately, any number of non-slash characters, right? Followed by a slash, followed by any number of non-slash characters. Actually, those will go here. 1 slash character. All right, and we'll want 0 of that. So there should only be exactly 1 of these. No, it'll still give me 16. 16. If I say since the beginning of the string, it should no longer regex look behind syntax. Let's just make sure I got the syntax right. Negative look behind. We want positive. We want a positive look behind that has 0 of these plus that. So positive look behind, and then the slash. Do I even need a look behind since I'm matching everything from the beginning of the string? All I need to do is make this not capturing. If I do this, let me just remember my regexing. and we don't do the global. So it should find 1 slash, right? Undefined. Oh, because this one here. So this should just find the first slash. Boom. And then if we put this at 1, that should find the second slash. Index remains 0. If I make this a positive look behind, they're gonna change the index. Index 340. Change this to 0. Index 325. And if I change this to 17, that should hit the last slash. Except 1 behind. So this should hit the last slash. I think there's 17 in total. No. 16 of these should consume 16 slashes. No, because the symbol needs to be here. Let's try the 1 again. $340, 2, 358, 485, 10. I mean, it found 17 slashes, right? 1397, okay. 15. 15 for whatever, right? 15, 17. Undefined. 16. Okay, so if we do a replace with double forward slashes, that should just work, right? And then we can do a decompress and JSON parse. And if we get an error, we don't have the right one. And we can just manually find the right one. I think it's like the one before the last or something. And there we go. Done. Okay. So yes. So that gets us the solution here as a solution object. So let's see. So that's the version with the solution. I guess I can just grab that solution. Can I just copy object? Dot join. Boom. Yeah, solution string. Here we go. That should be the solution string. Should be 81 characters long. So now if I go here, the reason I'm doing this is I just want to enter the solution here. Enter solution. Okay. And now click new link with solution, see what we're getting. And we're getting the bad one. Okay. So the question now is, why do we get the bad one, right? So let's go back here again. Clear all of this. Clear all of this. New link with solution. So what exactly happens? What exactly happens? It does this one. Okay, so I think this problem is server side. So let's see. Because normally this URL should result in an auto short ID, but I think what happens is instead of doing the auto short ID, it finds it. And Ewan is right. This might make recovery but difficult. Obviously, this issue needs to get fixed completely, not worked around. So that's why I haven't been too keen on improving the whole process, right? So let's see. Match puzzle root. So we're looking at something like... we're not even hitting the API here. Yeah, we're just getting a redirect here. So, match root handle server puzzle, serve puzzle, right? So we're hitting here. And actually what I want to do is I want to copy this URL. Keep a record of this. So this should have the double slashes. Yeah, so there's the double slash. So handle server puzzle, what happens? Short ID exists. Wait, short ID exists. URL path name slice 1. Okay, that just removes the slash. Short ID exists. Okay. So let's output that. I think that's what we need, right? And then we can save that. And we can just say document.location.href equals this. Right. And then if we're looking at what the server does, short exists is false, and then short exists is true. So if not, that's false. And then what's this? Short ID no space. All right, I think that's another one of the correction thingies. But we're not entering here. So then we can do this next check down here. I think we want to indent these, so in case we have multiple hits, we can differentiate them more easily. If I do that, and then I rerun this, all right, what do we get? True, false. Short exists is true. Auto short is false. Let's see. Let's just look at what the URL looks like here. Just to make sure we're actually looking at a real URL. Do that again. Yeah, so this is a full data URL. Auto short, so we get true here. So we're hitting auto URL true. URL auto short, okay. And then we'll get some puzzle info here. So that puzzle info, so that's basically what's happening is because we're matching the hash without the double slashes, it doesn't kick in the true auto URL. So, okay, so this tells me two things. It tells me that my auto URL mechanism works, the auto short ID mechanism. It tells me that the add solution mechanism potentially works. So far, I still don't know where the bad URL so it tells us we don't know if the short ID, the bad short ID probably was not created by the auto mechanism or by the solutions adding. It's just getting kept around by my permissive hash mechanism, right? So if we're looking at that, create puzzle hash, right? So this specifically gets rid of all slashes because I was trying to get things to match because I knew that they were going to get fixed, except they're not getting fixed. So we probably don't want to do that anymore. And at least it will create new hashes correctly, I believe. Yeah, the problem is, yeah. No, wait, the problem is here, we can never find double slashed paths by hash. So we can, okay, so what we need to do is the double slashes need to be... this is terrible. So we'll never be able to identify the data here, unfortunately. Yeah, just removing that is actually not good enough. The problem is the double slash data can never reach the server. So the other thing I need to do is, there's a couple of options, right? Unfortunately, the real URL cannot get sent to the server this way, right? But at this point, we're already going to the server. This happens before any of my code on the client runs because the client hasn't loaded anything yet, right? So if we trigger auto shorting here, I think it's okay if we trigger auto shorting here because it would still, when we're round tripping back to auto short the URL, it would still not create a duplicate. Because then for the auto short mechanism for the API call, it will get the full URL and then the hashing should work. The other mechanism would be to say, hey, if the client encounters an error, it notifies the server that there's a problem and the server wipes that puzzle away, right? But I mean, I can do that offline as well. So maybe we are okay to hash accurately. It just means we'll never cache on this first round trip. We'll always have to do the auto short ID round trip first. Which is okay. Again, it doesn't affect a lot of puzzles. It affects less than 1% of the puzzles, right? And it's one extra round trip just for those puzzles, and then everything should be fine. If we replace this with just doing that, and then we don't even need to encode that. I think the reason I'm encoding it is in case it's already encoded. Do we need to decode it first then? Oh, this is a bit nasty. I think for now, I'm just going to do this. All of this will go away for the puzzle database. So this is really just make it work a little bit better until the puzzle database goes live. That's really all we care about. All right. So if I now do this again, yeah, because now it'll work. And it'll always return the right one here, and we'll no longer return the bad one. It still means we still need to erase the bad one, but now it will not prohibit good ones from existing or from getting updated, right? I still don't know where the bad data came from, unfortunately. But now at least I can confirm that the add solution mechanism didn't add it. So this is really all we need to do this. Update hash. I'll go to flashes. So if we're deploying that, so if we do npm run deploy server, and then if we do pm2 list, pm2 restart 6, and if I go to beta here. So this short ID shouldn't exist now on beta. Right. Cool, 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 cool. We'll clear that. And if I now run this, we're going to the wrong one. Fair enough. If I run that, nope. If I run this, but replace this with beta.SudokuPad.app. Right? That should get us to the correct puzzle. No. No. Is it not restarting correctly? It has restarted correctly. Oh, but is it not using the beta API? Well, let's clear this again. See what we're hitting here. No, this is all hitting beta. Alright, what's going on here? SudokuPad server. Is it not restarting that correctly? It is running this. So, let's check the puzzle hash function. Where would it be? Info, it's definitely above pus info. Handle server puzzle. Oh wait, it's up here. Puzzle DB under puzzle. Here we go. Great hash. Yeah, so we've changed the hash function for sure. We've rebuilt the cache. Why is it still... Oh, okay. Wait. Obviously, I can't confirm things as easily here because obviously my local version runs differently, and my local server doesn't have the problem. So, let's see. When we're doing this, the hash shouldn't match, except the hash still matches because... Yeah, okay, so this doesn't do anything, right? Because obviously when the slashes come through, we have no idea if it's broken or not, because there could be a puzzle that isn't broken like that. So that still doesn't help. Yeah, okay, that still doesn't help. It helps locally, but not there. So, maybe that check shouldn't be done at all. Because all this check was avoid a round trip, right? So it says, hey, don't do the auto shorting if we already have it. So we could actually avoid this altogether by just, whenever we have an auto short situation, we don't care if the date already exists. We'll just do the auto short, and if the date already exists, we'll come back around. So we can actually just remove all of this and go straight to that and never have... This was basically serving one round trip for a very narrow set of circumstances that just never kick in. Right. That should do it. So I do this, and then I'll do a game2 restart 6. Right, and now we have this. And now if we clear this again and rerun this, did we upload? Yep, we restarted. We have the new file info. And now it works. And it should work a second time and get us right back to that. So this works. Okay. So I think we can just remove that. This is always round trip to client for long puzzle data. So we always round trip to the client. And we can probably restart that on 4 and 5 as well. 4 is the production and 5 is whatever, right? So now, if I do this with production, it should still work. It'll give us the round trip. It might take a moment because it's probably still it's still loading the hash. Which I'm curious that it takes so long, because it was much faster on beta. Well, it might take up to 30 seconds. If I do this. Yeah, so the site isn't down or anything. But it's taking its sweet time doing that. Is the CPU bound? 33% CPU. Maybe. What is our overall CPU load? Alright, I think it's finished now. 57 seconds, yikes. Alright, so that worked. R5V, let's do it again. And should just get us the same one. Okay. I think that fixes that issue. Does it fix it enough? May not handle double slashes correctly. Yeah. So, so that's not the problem. Fix round trip to client for all long IDs. So bad data doesn't prevent correct. All right, so that should be done. Cool. I'm happy with that. It doesn't fix the problem fundamentally. PuzzleDB will, but it'll improve the situation a little bit. And I think that was the only new thing that you even raised this morning. All right, because load this version, enter the solution, and then ask Sudoku to create a new link with the solution unit for refer. Which because SudokuPad front end which places where it could. All right. I mean, it's possible that this data is just old and it was created a while ago. Although I'm curious why I would only get a report for it now. All right. So the next big thing is this. I have a lot of reports of issues in the mobile apps, and one of the main problems with that is, or one of the issues with that is that the app has a bug. The old mobile app has a bug where changes to cage colors. We're basically not just modifying the current puzzle, but they're basically modifying the base values for all puzzles. And that meant that if one puzzle was trying to hide a cage or make the cage borders red, suddenly they were red for all subsequent puzzles or hidden for all subsequent puzzles. And one of the ways to fixing that was to say, okay, whenever there's a cage with default colors, actually just replace the default the no color with an explicit statement of the default color. So, you know, if the cage has no color, just make the colors black, and now, no, problem solved, right? And recently I made a change because I saw something there and I thought, oh, that's not right. And that change actually re-broke something. The change, unfortunately, it fixed something and broke something else, right? So basically what was going on, and we can look at that somewhere in here. If I look at, and I'll probably have to fix it in two places, because there is one set that generates this link that I'm pointing at, and then if the app doesn't react to it, it goes to another page which happens to come from a different system, where it also has to modify that data again, fix that data again, right? Let us have a quick look. I think it's called PuzzPatcher. PuzzPatcher. Here. So in the PuzzPatcher code, I had something which applied. Yeah, here we go. So it fixed the cage colors by applying you know, either if there's a color, it just left it. If there isn't a color, it would apply black as defaults. And what happened was that fpuzzles data basically can include empty cages, or not necessarily the data, but they get generated through another process elsewhere. So I ended up with basically an array of empty objects, you know, something like kind of like this, you know, empty object, comma empty object, or just one, right? And these were fine in the app, but what happened here is suddenly they would get assigned colors. So now we had a cage with colors and nothing else. And then in the app, now they were no longer ignored. Now they were treated like a cage, except it was missing all the other bits that a cage needs, such as, you know, cells and things like that. And that's when it broke, right? So instead of that, what I need to do is I'll probably want to create a quote-unquote reset cage. And this is something that came to me in a dream last night, literally. I haven't looked at the code yet. It's been on the back of my mind, I guess. So basically what I did originally here to fix the issue we had with basically these phantom cages is where I said, hey, if the cage has no properties at all, i.e. it's an empty object, then just remove it, right? The problem is that we now might end up with no cage, and the colors don't get reset. And I'm thinking that's part of the problem. It shouldn't be the main problem, because that should only affect the colors. But the app has a bunch of bugs, and, you know, the whole, it cannot render the thumbnails and stuff could be part of that, right? So what I'm planning to do now is that basically every puzzle gets 2 extra cages. Basically 2 reset cages. So I'm gonna give it a proper cage that doesn't have anything in it, so 0 cells, but it has a cell property and all that stuff. And I'll put it at the front, and then I'll have another version, and I'll put another cage at the end of the list of cages. So we need a couple of things. We need test puzzles, and we need to have a quick look at the original code, which is not super simple because obviously I've been working on it for the last 2 years, and, you know, a lot of it has been fixed. But we obviously need to look at the unfixed code, which is just a little tricky. So we might have to load in different versions and so on. And for that, I think I might want to have a second copy of the repo. Otherwise, it can be quite tricky. To basically see how the old app would handle things. Okay, so let's see what we did here last time. So, and unfortunately, I haven't done a lot of work. So this was something I did to get it running on my local machine, on this new machine. Okay, so we need to do a bunch of things. Why is there a UUID as a puzzle ID? Where did that come from? That's very strange. Alright, let's close these and see what we have. SudokuPad. And I haven't done much work yet on the mobile apps on this machine. I don't actually know if the build processes work. So we're gonna have to be a little bit careful that we don't go down the rabbit hole. Because getting the build stuff running and set up is always a pain in the butt. Which is part of the reason why I'm trying to build a new app with Capacitor instead of Cordova. Cordova is just so unsupported now and so old. Alright, so we'll have serve, which should give us just the local version, right? So if we go localhost 8080, that should get us the app, all right? But it gets us a relatively modern version of it. Yeah. So let's see what that change was that we were just looking at. So if I was looking at here, this unsafe, why can't I? Here we go. I did some fixes apparently here. Can I recess this window? We don't have line wrapping. And that's the thing, right? The only reason I made this change is trying to get it to get something to work. But of course, that change should be necessary because it used to work without that change. So I'm always a bit wary about doing these things. Overwrite the original. So there was some problem with minifying the files. And I think one of the issues here was trying to get it to build an Android. No, Electron. Okay. Well, let's do run build dash electron debug. Let's see if an electron build works. It's probably not going to work on WSL. Build electron debug. Let's see how that goes. We don't have Cordova installed. Install Cordova. Really? How can we not have Cordova installed? Wait a second. Cordova not found. Cordova. Did I really not install Cordova here? Alright, well, we definitely need that installed globally here. Did I never even run the install here? I must have, because I was working on I did an Android build, I think, on this system. Alright. Did it install Cordova? Cordova. No. Disabled on the system. Oh, geez. Oh, geez. What new fresh hell is this? So, I think we need to set that up. I hope that's not gonna screw me somehow. If I do this. Nope. Okay, does that mean we have Cordova now? Run build electron debug. We might have to install the electron. npm I must have installed everything by now. I don't want to add the platform because... Oh, no, it's not there. Oh, okay. So this is something I might have to actually start up the old machine and copy stuff over, because I'm pretty sure I had to make changes in the individual platforms to get them to work properly. That just setting it up from scratch isn't gonna do anything. Because this will add the platforms folder with the Electron thing. Wow, okay, so I definitely haven't got any of the other things because I haven't installed them. Ooh, but I have a hard drive on here that used to be the system drive on the other one. So in theory, most of the stuff should already be here. Haha. Okay. I mean, a from scratch install, if it works, will be great. But if it doesn't work, well, let's see. Does it? Can we run build Electron with just this? That would be a borderline a miracle if that works. Because these build processes are so horrible to get working. Right, also the sun is peaking, so I might have to... let me close the blinds for a sec, because I'm starting to struggle to see stuff. So, Sounds like it built something. Platforms, Electron, build, and unpacked. Alright, well, at least it confirms that whatever I did with the Uglify script there actually works, and it does do a build. So I guess it's safe to push this. Cursor. I think I switched from using Cursor to using Uglify. And I skipped minifying CSS, I believe. And I removed Electron from something where it was using something with the paths. Right. Don't know why that was changed. Or what changed here. Folders to process. Update Uglify. Yes. Alright, I'm guessing this is just Windows shenanigans. I'll probably just have to do the right git config or whatnot. This, I don't really want to change that. I don't know why that was changed from Apache to MIT somehow. That does make sense. So that shows me no git diff. This shows me no git diff. Why does this thing think there's a diff? It says modified, but then, git diff show all changes. I want to show all changes, not just what you think I should see. Git diff show all changes, including Nord. No, I want the opposite. Oh man, this is annoying. So whatever version of Git this tool uses, it's configured differently from the Git that I use on Windows and the Git that... Alright, it feels like something I want to fix, but it's also not something that I need to fix right now. I can just put that back here. So if we just say discard changes here, we should be fine. Alright. 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 Okay. So now we have a build version of the current code, and now we need to go back to the old code, which means we'll need to find a branch, which I set up for that a long time ago, and I think is 1.31. I believe that's the broken one. we go to 131. Hey. All right, we go to 131. If we now restart it, I think we need to restart it. I don't know if it'll build, if I can build that version anymore, to be honest. If we refresh this, close some of these windows. All right, so now we should be version 132.2. All right, so this should have the renderer with the problem. So now at least we can look at that. My God, so few files. This was before the whole feature system. My gosh. All right. All right, so at least we can use it to confirm things. The problem is I don't have sample data of the actual problem, because unfortunately people report things, but they don't tell me the puzzles that are involved. Now I can't blame them, obviously. It's not easy to figure out what the issues are. But they're not telling me which puzzle is causing the issue, or not giving me a link that I can actually use the puzzle, right? He's telling me about the puzzle, but without a link. The screenshots are great. But without a link to the actual data, there's nothing for me to actually look at, which is so frustrating. I don't understand what people think. Like, they think I'm sort of magic or something. I can just see a screenshot of something random. What? Back to fix. All right, so don't have them here. The known issue. Well, I don't know what the issue is, so not much I can do. Oh, that's something else. Certain stupid dark mode. Wrong color. Well, they're the color that the setter wants them to be most of the time. All right, so unfortunately, I don't actually have a puzzle with the issue. So I can risk working from kind of memory, from what I'm guessing. But really, the only thing I need to do is I need to confirm that adding these blank cages doesn't break anything else, right? So we'll still need a puzzle with cages, though. And if I get a standard killer, demo, like one of the demo killers, right? Like if I go here, and I just grab one that I've played already, or it doesn't, just any of these, right? And I'll do this. All right, we'll go local. Okay, this music is making me anxious. Oh, and it stopped. Great. Thank you. More relaxing. So this puzzle should have obviously the cages, but the cages shouldn't have color specified, right? So they're like this. Now, if we look at this link up here, right? Actually, we don't want to look at this link. So we got to jump through some hoops, because the puzzle patch is one of the bits of code that I'm actually minifying. We'll first have to set it up to load the unminified version, so we can actually modify it. Right, so this is the code where we're generating the bundle. So just swap these around. So that's now the unminified version of the puzzle patcher running. So now we can actually look at this. And then we can do something like this. And then when it runs through here, we should see the feature parts. We can see it actually runs through this process 3 times. Probably at various stages of having been loaded, right? So we might actually want to do... actually, I don't know if it runs through here multiple times, or if it's... We'll see. We'll see. We'll do this here. We'll do the warn here. This might be a bit long, because this probably will be the long data, yeah. So let's see what happens here. So we actually, this gets executed once. So why do we run through patch STL puzzle that many times? Let's see. I use console warn because it gives me a stack trace. It's just quick and easy way of doing that. Let's just do that. We run both twice. So this is basically this gets run early on before the puzzle has been loaded. So because the game initializes with a blank puzzle. So this probably gets run on a blank puzzle. And then it gets run after the puzzle has been loaded. And feature parts gets executed 3 times. Feature parts. 1, 2, 1. Feature parts. So feature parts. Fixed feature. So because fixed feature gets actually run more than once. So we'll do this. So that should get run once for each feature. Okay. Right. And the reason it's done like this is because features kind of overlap. So where features stored doesn't necessarily correlate with what feature it is, right? So because, for example, cages are used to store metadata, a couple of crossovers like that. So it's a bit... like, for example, I want to fix hidden cages, even if we're not necessarily looking at cages. Because it turns out that... Yeah, that hidden can be used elsewhere, right? Not just in cages. So it's really just fix hidden part, really. It's just bad naming, really. And this whole code needs to go away. But if we go here, before we look at that, we should be able to say puzzle cages. And we should be able to have a look at this. We don't need the warn here. And we don't need to warn here. All right, so puzzle cages. It says fixed feature cages. Puzzle cages. That's a string. All right, here we go. So we have a bunch of cages here. And I think I want to output them before and after. So we need to clone them. And we'll probably do this with a double JSON round trip. Just so we can basically deep clone the data in a very simple and nasty way that you should not do in production code. But for debugging, it's fine. So now these 34 cages, as you can see, don't have the colors. And then these have the colors associated. So that's this kind of puzzle should work fine, right? Now, let's have a quick look at something like this, right? And here, we're actually getting undefined. That's cute. If I do cages. So you cannot JSON it, like, undefined is not a valid JSON object. That's interesting. All right. Really? JSON.stringify undefined. JSON.parse undefined. You cannot parse the string. What if I do something like this? It's not valid JSON. Interesting. Wait a second. Doesn't that quote the string? It doesn't. Why does it not? What the hell? That outputs null. That doesn't output. That's weird. So string.undefined, JSON string file undefined, doesn't return the string undefined. That's so weird. It has a null, but it doesn't have an undefined. All right, whatever. We can also. The funny thing is that parse works on undefined, on the undefined string. So we actually, I was just in the wrong level. So after that, we can say or undefined as a string, right? And that should parse correctly. JSON parse with double quotes. Nope. That works. So it specifically needs a double quote. Anyway, not important. The point is we have no cages. Here we have the cages. So before, no colors. Afterwards, default colors applied. Here, no cages. So now, basically, we want to prefix and postfix empty cages, right? We want to see, okay, what is a fully set up cage? So we don't need unique and value. We do need cells, but I think it can be an empty array. And then we probably want to apply the default colors. So basically what we want to do is, if cages doesn't exist, we need to create a cages array. Right. So if puzzle.if not, do we check if it's an array? Do we check if it's an array, or do we just use object.assign? Because what we could do is we could say puzzle.cages equals object.assign puzzle.cages. No, we're going to be very explicit, right? So if puzzle.cages is not equal undefined, and no, if puzzle.cages equals undefined, then we'll set it to an empty array. If that's valid. Well, it'll be valid because we'll always fill it in, right? And then we can say if the puzzle.cages is it unshift? Onion unshift. This is unshift push in the front to the beginning of the array. So we want to do an unshift, and we want to do a thingamajig in the push. Unshift. We'll do a new cage with these bits. So we'll have a font color that's just black. And we'll have an outline color that's also black. Like that. And we'll have cells that are empty. Like that. And then we'll do a push as well. So there'll be a little bit of extra data, but that's fine. So we start with this, and we get 2 empty cages with this. And if we do this here, we'll start with 34 cages, and we'll end up with 36. All right. So now the trick is, if I go in here, copy this, which, by the way, shouldn't that have a little copy thing? Didn't I update that to have a little copy symbol? Huh. I could have sworn there's a new version that had a copy symbol here. I hope it didn't deploy an old version somehow. Huh. Alright. And we probably need to run the old version of the Steam app. I think that'll be good enough. So if we go to SudokuPad, builds, Electron 132.2 debug, and run the unpacked version, that should be enough to test this out. Right. Now we should be able to import our new puzzle data that somehow I haven't copied. Copy link address, paste, import, save and play. Okay, so that worked. And then we go to this version, and we'll do the same thing. Copy link address. We go back here, and we'll import. We'll do this, import, save play. Now, I gotta be careful because we only updated the code on the actual page. We didn't update this svencodes.com code yet. We actually want to copy this. We want to copy that, and we want to copy link address here. And I think when we go here, copy this, and I'm gonna take a short break in a moment, but we're not done yet with the stream. I think we can just modify that by doing this. The puzzle prefix is also ancient. And in fact, that looks like the same data. Okay, so maybe it just takes it over after the change there. You know, those cages are just encoded, right? If I look at framework.app.currentPuzzle, I don't think source puzzle existed yet. That's how old this is. We should see, yeah, we get the row and column cages, but do we get the invisible cages? No. But I think the invisible cages get stripped out, which might break the fix. Does that break the fix? Oot. Let me think. Because the idea was that any puzzle would fix it for all the other puzzles, right? The problem is, I think the code in here might actually be stripping out cages without cells explicitly. Let me think. What a pain in the ass. What a pain in the ass. If we look at app, and we'll look at how the code gets imported. Okay, so decode shared package. No, we don't do that. We do decode puzzle data. And we could even convert it to CTC data directly. There's no point maintaining it as fpuzzles data, I think. I don't think it gives us any benefits here. All right, so by the way, if you are in the stream, say hi in the chat. Let me know how the audio is. I'm kind of annoyed that people poke me at Discord chat and don't even bother popping into the stream. All right, so otherwise I just get distracted and talk to people that aren't even in the audience, which is kind of silly. So we're parsing the puzzle here, and the fpuzzle decoder might look quite different here. Ooh, and it's minified still. And oh my god, do I not have an unminified version of this? Ooh, I don't like this. We looked at this, and the data isn't there. Is that data available anywhere else? Ooh. Puzzle ID. Puzzle ID. Is this... Am I putting the puzzle ID anywhere global? Not sure. Puzzle... Maybe? Maybe? data. Get puzzle ID. What? So this function doesn't work. We have the puzzle data cache. How do we get to it? Puzzle data cache. 1 second. I'm gonna take a short break. I'll be right back. Hey, Christina, thanks for stopping by and letting me know about the audio. For some reason, YouTube decided to send me an email that you commented on Code Hangouts number 32, which obviously you didn't. You sent a live message on Code Hangouts number 148. So I don't know what that was all about. All right, I was, what was I looking at? Sorry, I just had to say goodbye to Toby as he's going to the office. Oh yeah, I was looking if I can access the raw data of the puzzle, basically to see if, blah, 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 blah. Oh, maybe we can do it here. Maybe we can actually modify the data to give us that. Basically, the idea is after we've imported, I want to see if those cages are still there, right? So, after decode puzzle data, find folders. Decode puzzle data. What? Find in folder. Puzzle. Project filters. Find. Well, that's just not true. That's silly. Get puzzle data, decode puzzle data. Puzzle to CDC. I think puzzle to CDC is something we use somewhere. You're not searching these files at all. Oh, maybe I need to search here. Oh yeah, okay, sorry. I was in the wrong layer. CTC, no, not thumbnailer. Create puzzle, no. Load puzzle into engine. Actually, yes. Right. So, if I put this here, and I'll say console.warn puzzle and return CTC puzzle. Alright. If I do this, will it have loaded this version? I don't think so. I don't think that one refreshed automatically. Alright. And then we'll do a load of this data. Like that. Alright. Load puzzle into engine. So we have this. Ah, okay. That's the unencoded data. And here we got our two empty cages. So wheat. Okay. Now let's do that again with this guy. Right? If I copy this link, put that there. If I copy this, is this not supposed to be a long link? Copy. Link address. Ah, okay. So I think it gets updated shortly thereafter. So that goes here. And now we can import that. So let's reload that. Import puzzle. Boom. Save and play. And here we should now be able to see also the two spare cages. Now, I'm seeing the cells area having been removed. Now, maybe that's okay at this stage. This is fpuzzle's data. So I think fpuzzle's data... Okay, so maybe that's part of the problem. Alright, we're gonna have to look a little bit deeper. Create puzzle. Puzzle to CTC. Puzzle to CTC. Oh, S puzzle string to go to SCF. So we'll do puzzle. And then SCF. Excuse me, my nose is a bit moist. Oh my gosh. No, it's not just you. It's me. I'm a terrible streamer. So sorry about that. Oh gosh. I'm sorry. I unmuted the microphone, and that's about it. Oh, all right. Okay, so decode puzzle data. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Maybe it's better if people don't watch this disaster. I really need to get into more professional modes of operation. All right, so we have decode puzzle data. We'll probably wanna output something from here as well. So we have decode puzzle. Now, decode puzzle data might actually be called multiple places, because I think that might also be called for the thumbnailers and all that. And eventually we're gonna do all of this stuff here. And unfortunately, it does an immediate return of this stuff. So, because I kind of want to look at the unzipped puzzle data up front. So maybe we can do something like this. Console.log puzzle ID. So this should be the encoded data. And I think we should be able to just decode it like that. And that should give us a bit of a start. If I go in here. Okay. Decode puzzle data. Where did the SEL come from? There should be no SEL in here. Because it doesn't understand that format. They need to be CTC. So something didn't get converted correctly. Shoot. Puzzle data SEL. A puzzle to CTC comes from create listing item app at thumbnail 386. Short puzzle listing, show puzzle listing. And my nose is itching. It's gonna be so annoying. So, puzzle listing, 90 something here. Handle, sort puzzle listing. Create puzzle listing. Sorted elements, sorted puzzle elements. Sort puzzles, get puzzles. Here we go. So if I do app.getPuzzles, what do I get? I get a bunch of these. And I should be able to see which ones of these are broken. Or are invalid, mostly. So that's CTC, that's fine. That's CTC, that's fine. Wait. These are SEL. These are the default puzzles. So I did already support SEL somehow. What? Oh, maybe because I started it up earlier and it carries over the local storage. So I might have to clear local storage. So if I clear all this out, right? Now reload it. And I go in here. And I go here. So it's probably just carried over the old, the previous data from the new version of the puzzle, which had this stuff stored as SEL data. Well, okay. Okay. So back to actually importing our test data here. So let's clear that. Import puzzle, import. So I'm seeing these here without cells. But that's not how it should be. They should come through with an empty cells array. So the question is, between here and the encoding of it all, does it do something to strip those out again? Encode SEL puzzle. So if I output that here and output are we always encoding SEL? Where's the patching happening? Pass patcher. We're gonna look here. We're doing all the patching. Puzzle package, please. Patch SCL. So it just runs both. Huh. And it just doesn't do anything if it's fine. Oh, okay. All right. All right. So we probably want to move that to here. And that here to make sure we're actually knowing which one we're running, right? So we're patching SCL data on these. Okay, so these are SCL, so forget FPUZ, right? So we'll have SCL data, and then we'll have encode SCL PUZ. And it has these cages, like that. And that encode looks like this. So unless the zip removes something, Act 64, that's the compression. So unless this does something to strip the empty arrays, and it very well might. That might be one of the optimizations that the zipper does, and it is. We could change that. We don't have to do that, right? We don't have to do that, I think. So if we look, we could literally change the puzzle zipper to just remove those kind of things. We don't really want it. We don't really want to use it anymore. It's just needed for backwards compatibility. But I think empty arrays would be backwards compatible. So somewhere in here, it's replacing empty empty arrays, and I don't know which one of these it is. And I'm pretty sure it's happening in here somewhere, right? So false and true are replaced by F and T. Colors are being replaced. This is being replaced by this part. One second. What am I looking at here? So we have opening brace, a closing brace. No, the closing brace is the group, right? So we have a comma, that or that. Then are these regex symbols? Yeah, that should be a count, but I'm guessing it means one or more. And then followed by one of these. Oh my god, my brain. So if I do output this, what do I get? So, if I output zipped here, I get these. At this point, it's already gone. So I'm looking for a zipped that still has the empty arrays in there. Well, it's not here. We have cells. No, we have cages. We have cells with empty arrays. So the empty arrays are already gone by here, I think. Clear empty arrays. Here we go. Here we go. Clear empty arrays. Does it do more than just clearing empty arrays? Can I completely skip that call? If I do this, right? if I do this, we have these guys. We have the cells. So now, if I copy this, maybe it has the data that we need. And it looks a bit different. It's actually smaller. The irony. It is actually smaller. Can you believe it? Alright, I'll refresh. Now if I import one of these guys, it breaks. Cannot read property integrator. Is it because of the cell arrays? Is it because of these? Object is not iterable. Shoot. SVG, convert puzzle. Alright, let's have a look at convert puzzle. This is a deep rabbit hole. Thankfully, the old code base is so much smaller, because I've added so much since then. In some ways, it's simpler. Right. .cage, converge puzzle 2768. So if I do console.warn, puzzle cages like that. If I then refresh, re-import. Gonna give these to me. Oh, you bastard. Alright, so the unzipper introduces this abomination. And what am I looking for? These. So the puzzle zipper returns an empty array and puts an empty object inside. And I don't think I can get rid of that behavior because it's actually depending on that, I think. Oh man, and I don't remember which part does that. I'm not sure. One sec. The question is, does that happen during the encoding or during the decoding? Because we end up with this. And my nose is itching so bad right now. So bad. So bad. Alright. My nose is the bane of my existence. Well, my nose, my intestines. And my feet, my ankles, my wrists. Yeah. Lots of things, really. Alright, I'm starting to feel my brain slip as well, so I'm probably gonna take a lunch break pretty soon. But I'd like to fix this, because we have 3 things to fix, and we only fixed 1. And the question is, should I step back and kind of reconsider what I'm doing exactly here? Because there are potentially ways of putting invisible cells in there and all that stuff. Let me think. If I... So this comes out of the puzzle patcher, right? And this is how the zip algorithm represents an empty area of cells, right? So the question is, what does the unzip do? Does the unzip just put... So we'll have the zip version here, and then the unzip version like this. Because it's... I'm depending on it to do this. God damn it. Oh, man. I'm trying to think, is there other data that it accepts? So it breaks basically here. Page.cells for areas length equals 0. The thing is, it actually it actually handles that. But all the other properties get stripped, actually. Oh, because obviously we don't get a length 0 array then. We get a length of 1. And I can't modify what the puzzle zipper does in the app because I can't modify that code. Is there a way of encoding an empty array that comes out as an empty array? I think there is. I think... we have zip puzzle, and then we have unzip puzzle. An unzip puzzle will take an empty array and do this. Right? Is this the empty array? It'll take... Wait, that's an underscore. Or... maybe if I do that? If I do puzzle zipper dot unzip, if I do something like this, right? If I do CE this, if I do Z underscore that, so it'll take array. I'm trying to figure out which of these bits does that. Like, it does it for an empty object, but it doesn't do it for an empty array. Which I'm guessing is this part, right? So it'll take either a comma, an opening brace, or an opening square brace, and it'll turn it into an empty object if followed by an underscore. If I put an underscore here, it doesn't work. If I do this, it does this. If I do this, it does that. Do this, it does that. If I do this, it does that. If I do this, it does that. If I do this and that, it doesn't care that it's in a string. Can I use that? Can I use that? Probably not. Does another process on the other end accept a string for the cells? Cage.cells or array. Ooh, what if would I make this undefined? Cells undefined. What about now? Or now? Undefined or null to object. Unzip. So unzip does some sort of JSON stuff. I'm just trying to think. If I can trick it into putting a null value there. Or is an empty object falsy? Maybe an empty object will be enough, actually. If I do this, and I do JSON.parse, right? And then I'll say cells is an empty object, and I say .cells, and I'll say or empty array, which is what the code says. No, that's not falsy. So if I do this, JSON.parse, My god, I'm reverse engineering it to... No, it just gets me the string null. What if I put an empty string in there? And then I'll say dot cells. And I'll say or empty array. Maybe that works. Maybe that works. So we don't need to necessarily change this. And the fewer changes we make, the safer it'll be, one would imagine. So if I put that back, but then in the patcher itself, instead of doing the empty array shenanigans here, we'll make it empty strings. Like that. So, if I do this, the cells come out as an empty string. And now, we'll do this for the millionth time. This time it's actually longer, weirdly enough. And now we go in here and we import this. Ooh. Ooh. Now the data is garbage, right? Because we get an empty string for cells. But importantly, the decoder can handle that correctly and turns it in an empty list of cells. And now it'll load in. The raw data will look like this. But the puzzle data itself, so if we go framework.app.current puzzle, and if we look at that, actually here it'll still be busted, right? Yeah, I think by the time we get to here, wait. But by the time we get to here, they might already be gone. Shoot. The important part is to have these in here, right? What if I... Oh, no, these are the actual cages, right? No, it's... They still got stripped out. Which is exactly not what we wanted. We didn't want it to get stripped out. Alright, I think we have to use this one to test. But I have an idea. What if we inject like a cage that's meaningless, like a row column cage or something like that? I mean, it might be problematic on arbitrary puzzles, but those are always going to be tricky. So if I say current puzzle now... Ow, that hurt. That hurt. Like if we have a no style assigned to it... speaking of no style assigned to it, does that mean that's a style that's available to us? Okay, there's something freaking going on, and like it sounds like somebody's unplugging and replugging my microphone inside the microphone. Alright, so... we gotta look at the cage styles, which come out of styles, cage borders. Unfortunately, there's a very limited set of styles that are available. Pillar, box, selection cage. And then we have these, which which were like the last thing that was custom-edited. So we don't have like a invisible thing. All right, well. All right, so all right. So we can't inject a hidden cage with cells. My god, okay. What are the other options? I mean, the other thing almost worked, it just broke in a different way. Yeah, basically it breaks on that one line at line 3, 8, something, something, right? Dot cells, or it basically breaks here. I think it broke here because cage.cells didn't exist. Except it's specifically dealing with cage.cells not existing. Shoot. So that means it was failing elsewhere. So maybe it wasn't even in here. Maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree. Maybe I can fix it in a different way. Yeah, because none of these... wait. Framework... no, that's framework.app.puzzle. I'm just trying to see where... I don't even remember how it broke. Man, I need to document. When I fix stuff, I need to... Even if it's like a small comment saying, hey, this is how it broke and this is what we're fixing and why. So all of these are internal cells referenced. They're not referencing cells in the data. But there was somewhere... And I see they're all protected. So when cells doesn't exist, it should always treat them as if they're just no cells. Except maybe something like here. Each.cells.map. Because stuff like this will obviously fail. If cage. Out cage. What cells? So maybe it's like a little bug where I missed one place, and because of that I have all this hassle now. And I'm not sure if I can use string references either, because then I could just pass in an empty string and... Yeah, in fact, but if this was an empty array, these would be undefined, and then this would blow up. Yeah, that doesn't work either. God damn it. Excuse me. The annoying thing is this kind of nose itching is like blowing my nose or sneezing or something doesn't relieve it. Like I saw a doctor about it, and apparently I have nerve damage in my nose. So yay. I think before I start barking up the wrong tree for too long, which I might already have done, let's have a quick look at what I did to change that. And I'm gonna look at the server actually because fewer changes happen there. And it must have happened. Twitch bot settings, admin clear cache. Okay, maybe I've done quite a few changes here. It wasn't too long ago though. Puzzle hashes, date, normal, format prefix. Now my nose is just going bonkers. Yeah, I might have to move on to the last item and then revisit this because I feel like I'm getting a bit stuck. Like I'm very close to a fix and I have a good idea what's happening, but I'm not quite there. And yeah, now we're 5 months ago, so this definitely happened in the last like 2 or 3 months. But I've done a lot of like internal stuff. Like these weren't changes inside the server. These were changes. Wait, it's not on SudokuPad.app. It's on Sven Codes. What am I looking at? I am looking at the wrong thing. It was... Okay, and this one should have much fewer changes. Okay. Except, it's not in here. Is it in Sven Codes? The puzzle patcher, right? Okay, now I'm a little confused because oh no, I'm a silly man. I'm a silly man. It would be on the link server in SudokuPad. No, in SudokuPad. Link server. I forget that things are and yeah, and because I'm on a different branch, I'm not gonna see it here. Alright, so it's all so confusing. So let's see if I can find it here. It definitely was a little while ago, and it's already gone live to production, and that's probably why I'm getting more reports on that. So let's see if we can find it here. The storage thing. Yeah, update puzzles, all puzzles. Add new counter exclusion, improve quarter error message, improve storage error message. App puzzle patching. Improved app puzzle patching. Yes, okay, so I think it was this change. Specifically. So instead of deleting these... No, and instead of... What did I do here? I said... If we have... Okay, that's on F puzzles. That shouldn't be the big deal. We remove these colors for each cage, but cells.length is 0. I think this refers to meta cages. If I look at 40s, is it around here? So we were doing this, okay. So what exactly was going on here? Prior. We did... So we initialized the colors on all cages. And now we changed it. We're only initializing them in this else. And the else is referring to the meta name. So basically, we're only initializing them on non-meta cages, and we're removing them on meta cages because meta cages don't need the colors on them. All right, that should be fine. It's still the problem here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to step back from this problem and think about it some more, because this might not be what's causing the issues now. So I don't wanna make a change that makes things worse. I'm gonna discard these for now. Discard these. I think we're gonna just tidy up after ourselves here. I didn't have any changes there. Yeah, we definitely want to discard this. Discard that. Discard that. And we don't have any changes here. We don't have any changes here. I'm gonna revisit that. I'm gonna have to read those emails more carefully, and maybe approach some people and see if I can actually get like some puzzle URLs to see which puzzles cause these issues. Because it's so hard when I'm just guessing and like dealing with puzzles that don't cause the issue. So we'll just put a revisit here. So then the final one is a weird issue where apparently, let's pull that out of there. Okay, we don't need you anymore. Where this puzzle is supposed to have another ring of elements outside, which it did used to have, and now it doesn't have it anymore. So that's super weird. So let's do this locally. Okay, and let's see if the elements are there. So we have something there. So why are these not visible? So I can only imagine that something is on top of them. Fill, color black, color white, stroke, fill. If I say fill #000 and then stroke hash red. Okay, so it's not the coloring. Opacity. Is it the layering? 0.4. Rect. Fill opacity, opacity. Fill red. Yeah, so these are all invisible. Like at first I thought maybe they're outside of the SVG, but they're not. Is it the fog mask? Oh, it's probably the fog mask, because I had to change that again to fix another issue. And now the fog mask doesn't reach far enough out. Except I thought I had actually explicitly fixed that so it does reach far enough out. Except maybe it doesn't. That's the problem with not enough people. So those elements are now fogged. Yeah, the fog. Like if I delete these, and then the elements come back. So the fog, should it ever apply to the cells outside of the board? No, it should not. All right, I'm gonna remove this. I don't think I need this anymore. So, let's see. So in the fog feature, I'm presuming that I've added code recently where we're calculating the extent of the fog masks. Because the unit thing, and this is all related to do with an SVG bug, where perfectly horizontal or vertical lines create a zero-sized area for the filters to apply to, and then the filters don't apply, even though after the filter or before the filter, the elements would be two-dimensional. But it doesn't take width of lines and so on into consideration. So, instead of waiting for Chrome to fix it, I basically, let me see, where are we drawing the fog stuff? Init fog, probably, yeah. So basically what I did now is I said, okay, I'm actually creating everything with an explicit extent calculated according to the board, right? But I think what's happening is it means that includes the outer areas, which it shouldn't. The problem is I don't know if some puzzles depend on that. I don't know. Yeah, because this is the full board extent. And the other problem is if I limit the filter to this, will it ensure things are being shown? Because I think it also depends on the filter for being shown. And the problem is I don't know which layer the outside elements will go into, because Mark's importer could do arbitrary things. So I can't even just say, oh, just because there are layers that aren't affected by the filter. And I'm guessing these are the ones, right? Which actually begs the question, why are these visible and those aren't? We have an overlay. Givens is empty. These are all empty. Something in grid. Arrows, cages. So it's all in underlay, right? So they're all in the same one. Broke none. Text. The text background has no height. So these text backgrounds don't do anything. That's weird. Okay, but that's weirdness for another day. So this is the same as that, but somehow the filter seems to this doesn't reach to there. So this board edge rectangle reaches all the way down there. I'm trying to remember how these different things interact, because obviously the fog is only here. But it reaches, in principle, the filter range goes all the way to the top. Can I draw these fog masks in some simple way? Man, I hate the masking system in SVG. It's so bad. I think this was the problem, but obviously based on use problem. And let's see if we can find where that change happened. Oh, and this was in testing for so long. Oh. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, 40,000 users, but one person does everything, all the work. One person, me. All the testing, all the coding, all the admin, all the sysops, everything. And then people ask me, oh, can I help? Yeah, well, I've told people a million times. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting grumpy. I'm hungry. I'm hangry. So, I don't even know how long ago I fixed that. This could be fairly early in the last version. It might even be in the previous version. People like don't pay attention to their own stuff, so That might have been broken for a while now. Fog mask, here we go. So I literally just put that in. So user space on use. What are the issues once again? We introduced your bounding box versus user space units and about the blah 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 blah. Only options. Because I used to have some sort of percentage buffer defined. And that's just, I don't see this anywhere. So I don't know why it decides it goes this far but not further. People look not only these options used to gradient patterns, but also filter. There are pros and cons both options, which you should use depending on what you're trying to do. Bounding box effects are often easiest to control for a single shape, but user space effects better coordination with the overall layout of your graphics. User space layers also avoid the distorting effect of non-uniform bounding box scale. Okay, so what is the difference? The user space and use radial gradient. Okay. There's no scaling. When there's an exception, non-uniform scaling transformation could create a separate user space used for each element. Transform, blah, 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 blah. How do I define the extent of it, though? This well indicates that the attributes represented values in the coordinate system that results from taking the current user coordinate system's place of the time gradient, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, except it's not for gradients. So I'm guessing I should use search for mask units. It doesn't tell me where that particular distance to the top comes from. Do I have to insert that in the parent? Like that? That maybe? That it? That fixes it for this particular case. And I'm curious why I didn't add that there. Because it feels like it should be on the light mask as well. Like that. Fog mask by. Did I have clauses for these? Where is the CSS here? Feature style. Mask white. So what if I make black like this and white like that? So then it's always a little alpha. But since it's only opacity, it'll never show something there, I think. Fog mask white, fog mask black. Over. I am very tempted to just put that in as a fix and see if that sorts it out. The problem is because it's broken on main. All right. Well, let's have let's have at least a spot check for the other affected puzzles. And apologize for the spoilers, obviously. So if I go to releaseware here. I think I'm going to accept this as the fix. I don't have the mental headspace right now to kind of dig into it and see if there's any contraindications. In principle, it looks fine. It means we're just applying the same board calculation, size, and position calculation that we do to the actual elements inside the mask to the mask itself. This might be risky, but I think these should operate exactly the same way, right? They're just inverse of each other. And in fact, I'm wondering if this shouldn't also be Probably not in the use yet. Probably all of these should have these. Fog mask black. Okay, that just uses this part. That's already has its board edge rectangle on there. Oh, and it shouldn't affect any non-fog puzzles, and it should do what it's supposed to do on fog puzzles. So I think I'm going to implement that as a hot patch on production. So let's do that as a minor update here first. Right? Fix fog mask. Then sent with a T, right? And we probably don't want that. And the only functional changes are that, right? There's no other code change. All right. And then we'll do the same thing on production. So we'll probably want to do test production. And then we want to test this on 13. Oops. There we go. And now on production, we'll basically want to do the same thing. Feature fog. Here. Reference. So we basically need to add these here and here. And then add, oh, and here. And then add that to here. And I think that's the same change we did on the other one, right? So user space on you, you know what? We'll just copy these two masks. We have one. Not this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So if I now replace this with these. Okay. And now we'll manually update the thing because I've never created a script for automatically bumping versions for production hot patches. Because frankly, I don't like doing it and it shouldn't be done very often. We'll do that. Do that. Save that, save that. And we should have production. It should be the same change here. Like that. I mean, we'd probably just update production to this for a case like that. Right, so this should update all the versions. It's gonna hit my server some bandwidth usage when everybody updates. All right, but it should fix it. We refresh that. There it is. Okay. All right. And we want to probably deploy that. See what we got here. Deploy. But we want to deploy that from SudokuPad here. Let's deploy beta first. Make sure it works here. Okay. It'll take a moment. Let me check if I have updated the deploy script. I think the deploy scripts right now do. They shouldn't deploy the API. Okay, it's fixed here. I saw something briefly doing a fade. Yeah, so I can see the blur filter gets cut off here. For some reason. That's interesting. Not something I'm worried about right now. It just means I think the edge of the puzzle is actually really close to that question mark. It's an unfortunate effect, but it shouldn't be a problem in practice. And if we deploy production, so this is the faulty version. Let's see what we got. All right, that fixes the fog puzzles. Sweet. All right, I should be testing with a fog puzzle, but right now I am brain dead. So I'm just gonna play like something. I'm gonna play an NYT one, but on the production site. So this is this 2 days? Yeah, that's 2 days. New York Times hard puzzle. I'm gonna have a quick play just as a sanity check to make sure we didn't break anything. Any big errors. Hopefully it's not a tough one because I am getting mentally exhausted. All right, so 5s, we got a 5 here, 5 here, 5 there, and here. 6s, 6 here. Got a 6 here, here, there. So 6s here, 6s here, and somewhere in that area. Oop, no limitations on the 7s. 8. 8 here. All right, and 9s here, or don't know. Let's just loop around quickly because we added quite a few constraints now. But I don't think did too much, at least not for the 1s. Who's here and here? That's worth marking. Probably not gonna do anything. 3 is, oh, goes with a 1. It gives us an 8. And then these 3 are 2, 7, 9. Right, that's the 9, that's the 2, and that's the 7. Which makes this one a 4. Sweet. Alright, where were we? 3s. Let's skip ahead. 3 over here. 3 over here. Yep. And 4s here. A 4 here. That makes that a 4. 4 there. 4 there. Alright. 5s are done. 6s here. There. Alright. 7's down there. 8s. 8s. 9s. Here. Alright. We have 3 left here. So that's 2, 3, and 7. There's a 2 here. Is that helpful? Not really. This column is almost done. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. 2. The 3 here, okay. And this column is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is up here. 8, 8 and 2. Less revealing than I had hoped, actually. This is 1, 2, 4, and 6. Ooh, there we go. Single. Make it single. 1, 2, 4, 6. 4's over there. 1 there. That means we have a 8 and 9 left. 8 here, 9 there. 8 here. This is 1, 3, 7, 9. Ooh, 3 there. There. Alright. No 8 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 7, 8, 9 there. That's an 8 there, but that doesn't do much. Oh, these 3. We have 2, 6, and 9. 2, 6, 9. Alright, let's have a quick sweep through the digits again. 1 up there. Got a 2. Nowhere constrained. 3's also not constrained. 4's almost, but not quite. No cookies. 6, nope. 7. Do I see anything? I do not. 8's. Fairly close, but not useful. Ooh, 9 with the 6s. That's getting pairs is generally good because it constrains other cells. So now that we have a 4-7 pair here, which gets rid of the 4 here, which gets rid of the 4 here, puts a 4 here. That's a 1, 2, 8 triple with this one. And this one is a 2 or 7. Okay. What was I looking at? I got that 9-6 pair, right? Does that do anything for the 6s? No. 7s. Put a 7 here. Here. The 3 here. 7 here. 2, 3, 8. 2, 7. 2, 1, 8. 7, 7, 9, 1. Okay, so hopefully that'll be it. 4, 2, 7, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 3, 6. 1, 3, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Right. 3, 2, 1, 4, 6. 4, 2, 6. 3, 1, 1, 9. And 9 and 7. That's it. 5 minutes 45 for New York Times Heart. Should be alright. I like this one. Alright. Looks like we didn't break anything obvious. Actually, let's do one of the let's do a killer as well. Just one more, and because I enjoy these. So, we've done this one already. So we'll do this one as quickly as I can manage it. Although I sometimes get stuck on these for a little while. I'll try not to. 15. That's 26, 33, 43. The 2. Oh, got no 2 in here. No 2 in here. No 3 in here. Fine. 4, 5, 7, 8. 12 cage. 16, 30, 40. 40. We need 5 more. So this is 5 larger than this. So, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? Can't be a 6, so this can't be a 1. And this is a 12, so 3, 4, 5, and 7. No 1 in this one, and no 3 in this one. This. All the evens then. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2 in here, so no 2 here. No 4 here, so 2, 5, 7. So 5, 7 is 12, so we can get rid of 5, 7 on both of those. And 8, 9. What did I say earlier about these two? This one has to be 5 smaller than that, so that's got to be a 3 or 4. And let's just make sure we're still on the right track. 4, 8. 4, 8. And 2, 8, 9. We've got a 2 here. We've got an 8 or 9 and a 3 or 4. Sounds about right. 8 or 9 here. This has an 8 or 9, but only one 8 or 9. So none of these. And no. Okay, well, was never trying to. Can't have a 3, 4. So that's an 8, 9, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. 1 or 2. There's a 1 or 2 in here. Can't have a 2 in it. So we have a 1 in here. The 1, 5, 6 with a 1 given. Not there. So that's correct, right? No 1 or 3 here. And I use the checker sometimes because I'm lazy to do the correct math. So I want to avoid going too far down a path because I made some silly mistake that could have been avoided if I just spent a little bit more time, which I don't have when I'm rushing. So do with that as you please, but that's exactly the sort of thing I use the conflict check for, and I'm very happy about it, and it makes my gameplay more enjoyable, and that's what it's for. So, you know, always consider what makes you happier. And don't worry about what other people say. Enjoy the game your way. And I'm wrong. So where did I go wrong? You see, like, these deductions were all logical, so I just made a silly mistake, right? So, okay, so I made a mistake ruling out the 9 from there. Alright, so I have a deeper issue here somewhere. So, if this has a 5 or 6, and that's a 5 or 6, this can't have a 5 or 6, which makes that a 4, 9, which means this can't have a 5, 9 in there. So that's a 6, 8. So this would have to be a 5, and it is. So yes, it was silly, and I just made a derpy typo somewhere along the lines. So these should all be correct now. Yeah. And then this doesn't have an 8, so it's a 2, 9. Makes this a 3. That's a 9. 8, 4. Now we're back on track. That's exactly the sort of thing. And I almost want a more automated way of just telling me, hey, it's like, boy, you made a... Like, in A, it could be maybe a warning when you go more than X moves down a wrong path. Like, if you've made X moves after an error, it'll warn you. Or something really smart that detects if an error is likely just a typo. Or if an error is a false deduction. And I think certain typos should be relatively easy to discover. Like, especially if you're like, if you have a 5 or 6 and you put in the wrong of the 2. Especially if it's logically already been eliminated, right? Alright, good. No 4s in any of these. No 8, no 7, and no 4. Means there's a 1 in here. A 1, a 2, or a 5, and a 6 or a 9. So this can't have a 2 in it. This 2 eliminates them from here, and that 2, 5 plus that 2, 5 eliminates that from here. And we cannot have a 7 and an 8, or a 7 and a 4, an 8 and a 4. Or any of these combined, like, can have an 8 and a 5, because any digits that already ruled out here would have to go here, so we cannot have 2 of them. 3, 6, 7 is possible, 3, 4, 9 is possible, 1, 6, 9 is possible. Yeah, so we can have 1 of 6, 9 here. Just can't have both. The 1 of 6, 9 can be here, 1 of 6, 9 can be here, and then the 1 could be here. Except, no, it couldn't be. So this one isn't possible either. We do have a 3 in here. Which makes sense, because we don't have a 3 anywhere else. So, in fact, the 3 is here. And then we have 6, 7, where the 7 would have to be here. So this is either a 3, 6 with a 7 here, or a 3, 4, 9, where the 4 would be here, and the 9 would be there. So that's a 3, 6, 9. So that's the pair up to the 6, 9. Okay, I could have figured that out a while ago. This can't have a 4 and a 7 now. Alright. Can't have a 1 and a 9 either. It can't have a 3, 6 and a 9, but yeah. That's going to be a problem. No 3s here. 9's here. No 4, 7 here. Actually reduced it down to 2 options, which are basically worth writing down. So we have a 3 or... Oh, no 3 here. So that's a 4, 6. So no 6 here, which means that's a 4. And then that's a 6, that's a 4. That's the 1, 5, 6 option. Or that's the 1. So that makes that a 2, and that's the 5. And this is 2, 7, 8. Which makes that the 2, 8 pair, and that makes that 7. We have a 1, 8 or a 3, 6. 1, 8, 3, 6. 3, 6, 1, 8, like that. Alright, so this 10 can't have a 4, 6. That's fine. This cannot have a 6, or a 4, or a 5. Can't be a 2, 8. 4, 1, 9, 3, 7. Where these can't be the highs and these can't be the lows. So now we have a 1, 3 here. So now we're only missing 2 and 8 in these two. And this can't have a 7, 9 now. It does have an 8. 8 here. But the 8 has to... Oh. So that's a 2, 8, 8. And now this is 1, 3, 7, 9. Which makes sense, right? And we're good so far. We have a 3 and a 6 here. 8, 6 there. And this is 2, 3, 5, 8. 8 there. That's 3, 8, or 5, 6. Resolves like that. That's a 4, 5. That goes like that. That goes like that. That's a 4. 2, 8, 9, and 3. 3 goes together with a 7, so that can't be a 7. Got a 9 here and a 4. 9 here, 1 there. That's a 2, 5, 7. Like that. And then 9, 2. And down here we get a 4 and a 6. 7, 9, 1. Oop, 1. 7, 3. 5, 6. 1, 3. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 9. 3, 5. 7, 8. Go. 7, 8. Here we go. That can't be a 9 because of that 8. 9 goes here. 9, 1, 3, 1, 5, 3. Yeah, now we're just filling in whatever the conflict checker is telling us is wrong, basically. 7. 1, 2, 3. Where does the 4 go? Here. 5 goes here. And finally, we're missing an 8. All right, so far so good. This doesn't seem to have destroyed anything majorly, and we should have fixed that first issue, which means we're now still missing this final one. Which sucks, because that's what I'm getting emails about, and I don't like seeing all those emails of people having problems, especially people who've paid for the app. So that's sad, but I'll definitely take another crack at that. So figure it out. I have always so far. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm gonna take a break now. I might come back with a short game stream, continuing my Timberborn, just to have a little break in the afternoon after lunch, or later in the evening. I'll see. Mostly because it's stuck in my head, and the sooner I can finish that, the sooner I can clear my head again. That's basically it. And I do want to do another session with it, maybe a bigger map or more difficult one, something where there's real stakes and where I can fail, maybe fail fast. But I'll probably have to take a break after this first session, because it really worms, these kind of games worm themselves into my head, and then I think about them all the time. And I wanna use my problem-solving skills for solving SudokuPad problems, such as, you know, PuzzleDB, the account system, all these things. All right, and of course, bug fixing, finishing Gas Rise. Gas people about. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one, and we're hanging out. I hope I'll see you in the guys next time. Ooh. I wasn't typing that. Thanks for hanging out. Take care.